The Raiders season feels like it's slipping away fast. 3 weeks in, and once again Raider Nation is left frustrated. The team we hyped up all offseason, the one we thought would finally turn the corner, looks like the same old story. Fans are already questioning everything: the coaching, the play calling, and the lack of execution on the field. It's Overreaction Monday, and Raider Nation is heated. But the question is, are these concerns justified, or are we just letting emotions run wild after another tough loss to the Commanders? Before listening to the latest news, subscribe to the channel, like it, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Let's move on to the new news. Right now, the Pete Carroll buzz that once gave us hope is already fading. Raider Nation is tired of promises, tired of excuses, and desperate for results. At the end of the day, it's simple: if the Raiders don't win, everything and everyone will be under the microscope. 3 weeks in, Raider Nation already feels the frustration piling up. The list of problems keeps growing, and if things continue this way, there won't be much to celebrate this season. The biggest issue staring everyone in the face? The offensive line. It's been shaky from the start, but against Washington, it looked completely exposed. Missed assignments, penalties, and blown protections left the offense stuck in neutral. What makes it worse is that most of these players were part of last year's unit, a group that ended the season looking solid. So why does the same talent now look so unprepared? Much of the blame points toward the coaching staff. Brendan Carroll might carry the last name, but he hasn't proven he can lead this unit. Players are being shuffled into positions they don't belong in. Jordan Meredith at center, JPJ at right guard, and the experiment is failing badly. Raider Nation can see it, and it's time for adjustments. The fix isn't complicated. Put JPJ back at center, move Meredith to guard, and let players play where they're strongest. If the Raiders don't make these changes soon, this offensive line will keep dragging the entire team down. Another headache for Raider Nation is Dylan Parham. His last 2 games at left guard have been rough: missed blocks, poor technique, and a complete lack of rhythm. At this point, sliding Alex Kappa into that spot might be the better move, because what we've seen from Parham isn't working. The numbers from the Commanders game tell the story: 5 sacks allowed, 24 total pressures. That's not just bad, it's embarrassing for a unit that was supposed to provide stability. Something has to change, and fast. Then, there's the JPJ situation. He was healthy, suited up, and ready to go, yet he never stepped on the field. Fans were left wondering why a key player was sidelined while the line collapsed. Pete Carroll explained afterward that it was a short week, JPJ had just returned, and they wanted continuity with Kappa. But the result proved otherwise. Continuity didn't equal success. The Raiders can't afford to keep making safe choices that backfire. If JPJ is ready, he needs to play. Period. Pete Carroll's explanation for keeping JPJ on the bench doesn't sit right. Even on a short week, JPJ would have been a better option than what Alex Kappa has shown these last 2 games. That decision falls on poor judgment, and it's hurting the team. Outside of Colton Miller, the offensive line feels unstable. If it wasn't broken before, why force unnecessary changes? The truth is simple: if this line doesn't come together, the Raiders' offense will continue to sputter, and the losses will pile up. Washington has a strong front 7, but that's no excuse for being dominated the way they were. On a brighter note, Trey Tucker had his best showing yet. He exploded for 8 catches, 145 yards, and 3 touchdowns. On paper, it looked like a breakout performance Raider Nation has been waiting for. But context matters. Most of that production came when the game was already out of reach. Fans want impact plays that change the outcome, not just stats in garbage time. This wasn't just another loss. It was the way it happened. The points the Raiders managed to put up came when the game was already out of reach. Trey Tucker's breakout deserves credit, but Raider Nation wants to see that kind of performance lead to a win, not just late-game stats. Another glaring issue was special teams. Washington tore through the Raiders' coverage all night, racking up 245 return yards. A 69-yard run nearly went the distance, and a backbreaking 90-yard punt return touchdown flipped the momentum completely. That kind of breakdown doesn't just give up points, it tilts the entire field in the opponent's favor. And the problems didn't stop there. The defense, which had held strong in earlier weeks, crumbled against the run. Over 200 rushing yards allowed, missed tackles everywhere, and a brutal 60-yard touchdown that saw 3 defenders, including Max Crosby, fail to bring a runner down. Those kinds of lapses expose major weaknesses, and unless adjustments are made, it'll keep costing games. I'll give the defense one bad outing, but if they keep playing like this, serious questions need to be asked. It wasn't just the run defense. The pass defense was just as shaky. Marcus Mariota looked way too comfortable, barely touched all night, and sacked only once. He stood in the pocket with ease, calmly finding his receivers and hitting big plays downfield. At no point did he look pressured or rattled. That has to change if the Raiders want to compete. Still, there's one silver lining. The AFC West is wide open. 3 teams sit at 1-2, and while the Chargers are on top, nothing is decided yet. There's plenty of football left, but this loss raises red flags. Until the Raiders show consistency and give fans real hope, the criticism will keep coming. Raider Nation's frustration isn't just noise. It's years of disappointment boiling over. We've seen the same patterns too many times, and until this team proves otherwise, overreactions don't feel like overreactions at all. I'll admit, even I felt overreactive after this loss. It's easy to think the Raiders' season is already over, and I get why so many fans feel that way. This was the most embarrassing defeat so far, no doubt about it. But here's the truth, we're only 3 weeks in. There's still time to turn things around. The key lies with the offensive line. If this group doesn't improve, then yes, the season will collapse before our eyes. Without protection, the offense can't build drives, can't create rhythm, and can't compete with the rest of the league. That's the brutal reality. But history shows us that early struggles don't always define a season. Teams have started poorly and bounced back strong. If the Raiders can fix their protection issues and keep fighting week after week, this ugly start could one day look like just a bump in the road. That's the kind of turnaround Raider Nation is desperate to see. Another overreaction flying around is the claim that Ashton Jeanty is already a bust. Raider Nation, let's slow down on that one. 3 weeks into the season is far too early to stamp that label on anyone, especially a young player still trying to find his rhythm. Has Jeanty lived up to the hype yet? No. His impact has been minimal, and the flashes we hope to see just aren't there. But context matters. When the offensive line is collapsing and the offense as a whole is sputtering, it's hard for any rookie to shine. Calling him a bust this early ignores the bigger picture. Development takes time, and plenty of players have started slow before breaking out later. The question isn't whether Jeanty has talent, it's whether the Raiders can create an environment where he can use it. The conversation around Ashton Jenty feels a lot like what we just said about Geno Smith. If you really watched the game, you saw it plain and simple. Jenty barely had any room to run. Still, he managed his best outing of the season so far. 17 carries, 63 yards, and even broke off a 13-yard run. Those flashes showed us the talent is there. But how far can he really go when the offensive line is collapsing every other play? Now, Raider Nation, before we dive deeper into this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and don't forget the bell icon. That way you never miss the latest Raiders updates. Alright, let's move on to the news. Back to Jeanty. Let's be real. Taking him at number 6 in the draft raised eyebrows. And right now, with the line struggling this badly, it almost looks like that pick wasn't worth it. But here's the truth. Calling him a bust is way too soon. Time and time again during the game, defenders were in his face the second he touched the ball. And yet, he fought for every single yard. That's not a bust. That's a rookie fighting uphill against a broken system. We've got a long way to go this season, and it's clear the offensive line holds the key. So the real question isn't whether Ashton Jeanty can deliver. It's whether the Raiders will give him a chance to prove it. Raider Nation, what do you think? Was this just another ugly week, or are you starting to lose faith? Can the silver and black still claw their way back into the win column? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear where you stand.